The Cheers to That podcast, proudly brought to you by DrinkLab.org. Thanks for listening. Your next favorite cocktail is waiting at DrinkLab.org.
Ever wonder why that Sex on the Beach cocktail is still so popular?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right?
We're going to find out. Like, really dive deep into it.
Yeah.
Figure out its history.
The flavor, all that.
Maybe even some secrets,
Oh, for sure. This cocktail, man, it's like looking through a window back in time, even though it seems so simple.
Okay, hold on. Break that down for me.
It's all about the trends, even the, social history that this drink represents.
All right, I'm hooked. So where do we start?
Well, we got to start with the recipe, right?
Classic Sex on the Beach. Got to know the basics.
Exactly. And luckily, DrinkLab's got our back. They hooked us up with a solid recipe.
But we're not just, reading the recipe, are we? Come on, I need the good stuff.
Oh, we're going way deeper than that, trust me.
All right, lay it on me.
So picture this, the 1980s.
Okay, leg warmers, big hair, yeah.
You got it. And vodka, peach schnapps, orange juice, cranberry juice, all blended up into a, super refreshing, fruity drink.
All right, I can see the beach vacation vibe, but the 80s connection. Tell me more.
So the 70s were wild, man, like a flavor explosion. But then the 80s came along, and it was all about keeping things chill and fun.
Kind of like saying, see you later, disco, and hello to something a little smoother.
Exactly. And that name, Sex on the Beach, I mean, come on, that just screams 80s to me.
It's true, you don't forget a name like that.
Yeah.
But why do you think it stuck around for so long?
I think it's that feeling, like people wanting something familiar, fun, a little taste of simpler times. And those flavors, total beach vibes, always going to be popular.
Okay, I'm down with the beach vibes for sure. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. The flavor. Vodka, that's our base, right? Now, I like a good quality vodka, but how important is it here?
Vodka's like the quiet kid in class who lets everyone else shine. It doesn't try to steal the show with fancy flavors. It just lays the groundwork.
So no, hints of vanilla or anything, just straight up vodka.
Exactly. Clean, smooth, a blank canvas for everything else.
And what a wild mix of flavors we've got. Peach schnapps, I gotta admit, I kind of associate that with old school cocktails. What's it doing in this mix?
Don't underestimate the schnapps. It brings that sweetness that balances out the tart cranberry. It adds a layer of, something special beyond just, oh, this is foodie.
Okay, I'm listening. Now, the orange juice. DrinkLab, they're big on fresh squeezed. But does it really make that big of a difference?
Huge difference. Freshly squeezed orange juice, man, it just explodes with flavor that is way better than that bottled stuff.
So we're talking next level flavor here. I never knew there were so many possibilities with something as simple as orange juice. What about the cranberry? That's got to be important, right?
Cranberry is key. Yeah, it gives us that awesome pink color, but it's more than just looks. It adds that tartness that keeps the drink from being too sweet,
So we've got the smooth vodka, the sweet pea schnapps, the bright orange, and the tart cranberry.
Oh!
It's like a perfectly balanced dance party in your mouth.
Now you're getting it, and that's just the beginning, my friend.
Wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. Once you get these basics down, it's like the cocktail world opens up, and you can get really creative. But first...
Okay, all right, you've got me on the edge of my seat. Don't worry, listeners, we'll be right back to dive into all the exciting variations and even some pro tips. You won't want to miss it.
Thirsty for something wild? Grab the Sex on the Beach recipe and other tempting cocktails at DrinkLab.org. Let the party begin.
All right, so I've got the classic Sex on the Beach down. We've talked about its 80s vibes, the whole flavor balance thing. But now I'm ready to shake things up a bit, What about those variations you mentioned?
Oh man, this is where the fun begins. Once you know what makes this drink tick, flavor-wise, it's like you've got the keys to the kingdom.
Okay, you got to give me an example. Hit me with your best shot. What's a variation I'd never see coming?
Okay, buckle up. How about a tequila Sex on the Beach?
Wait, tequila? No, that's just crazy talk. Or is it? I mean, I can kind of see it, maybe.
Trust me, it works. We're talking a Blanco or a Reposado tequila. The agave sweetness, it just plays so well with the other flavors. And to take it up a notch, muddle in some fresh jalapeno before you shake it.
Whoa. Back up a second. Muddling. For those of us who aren't master mixologists, what is muddling exactly?
It's super simple. You're just gently crushing herbs or fruits, to release those good flavors. So in this case, muddling the jalapeno, it gives the tequila this subtle heat, adds a whole other dimension to the drink. And for the finishing touch, a little chili lime salt on the rim of the glass.
Okay, you've officially blown my mind. See, this is why I love a good deep dive. But tequila's not the only game in town. What about gin? Can we make gin work in a Sex on the Beach?
100%. You just got to pick the right gin, right? Go for something with citrus notes, grapefruit, lemon peel, something that'll complement the orange and cranberry. And hey, if you're feeling really fancy, a touch of elderflower liqueur adds a nice floral note.
Dude, you're like a cocktail wizard. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But for our listeners who might be feeling a little lost, what's the most important thing to remember when it comes to variations?
Don't be scared. Experiment. Make small changes. Taste as you go. And most importantly, have fun. Your own taste buds, those are the real guides here.
Love it. Okay, let's switch gears for a sec. The Sex on the Beach, it's been around forever, right? It's not just a flash in the pan. Why do you think that is?
It's more than just a catchy name, although that definitely doesn't hurt. The Sex on the Beach, it's like it represents something. It's like a little escape, back to a time when cocktails were all about having a good time, enjoying those big, bright flavors.
It's like a mental vacation, right?
Exactly. And those tropical flavors, they never go out of style. Sex on the Beach, pina colada, Mai Tai, they all promise sunshine and relaxation no matter where you are.
I could use some of that right about now. But before I get too lost in the fantasy, we haven't even talked about making this at home yet. DrinkLab, our trusty source, they're all about using fresh ingredients. How crucial is that, really?
Oh, it's non-negotiable, my friend. Fresh squeezed orange juice, that's the only way to go. And please, ditch that bottled cranberry juice cocktail stuff. Go for the real deal, pure cranberry juice. The flavor is night and day.
Got it. And I'm guessing the vodka matters too, right? Don't need to go top shelf, but...
Exactly. You don't need to spend a fortune, but a decent vodka will make a difference, trust me. Think of it like this. You wouldn't use bad fruit in a fruit salad, would you?
Touché. Okay, you've convinced me. Any other pro tips you can share with the class?
Ice matters. Big ice cubes, they melt slower so your drink doesn't get all watered down. And don't forget the presentation. A nice chilled hurricane glass is classic, but you can also use a highball, no problem. Oh, and a garnish. Can't forget the garnish. Simple orange slice, a couple of cranberries on a pick. It just elevates the whole experience.
It's all about the details. Okay, my brain is officially buzzing with cocktail ideas.
Yeah.
But we were talking about experimenting.
Oh, yeah, there's so much more we can do.
Right. We've covered swapping spirits, getting creative with the juices, even adding a little spice. But what about adjusting the sweetness?
Great point. Everyone's got their own sweetness preference, right? It's about finding what works for you.
So if someone wants their drink a little less sweet, what could they do?
Easy. You can dial back on the peach schnapps a bit. Or try a less sweet orange juice. Blood orange or Calera orange, they add a nice complexity too. Another trick is to bring in a touch of acidity to balance out the sweetness.
Now you're talking my language. What kind of acidity are we talking about? Don't leave me hanging.
A squeeze of fresh lime juice works wonders. Or for something bolder, try a bar spoon of grapefruit juice. That'll give you a nice citrusy bitterness.
My head is spinning with all these possibilities. I need a minute to process all this amazing information.
Take your time. Take your time. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. We've covered so much ground today. The history, the flavors, all the different variations. This has been incredible. But don't go anywhere, listeners. We've still got more to come, including those home bartender tips we promised, and a final thought to leave you inspired.
Let's raise a glass together. Become our drink buddy and sign up at DrinkLab.org.
Okay, I think I'm finally ready for round 3 after all that cocktail knowledge.
You know what they say, right?
What's that?
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
You got that right. But seriously, who knew there was so much to learn about the Sex on the Beach?
It's a classic for a reason, right?
Yeah, you've totally inspired me to, step up my cocktail game.
Glad to hear it.
But before we wrap things up, I got to ask any other tips for our listeners out there, the at-home mixologists.
Okay, let's see. We talked about fresh ingredients, good quality spirits.
Right.
Oh, and don't be afraid to make it your own,
What do you mean?
Like we talked about those variations,
Right.
right? But even those, you can tweak them. If you want a little more of this, a little less of that, go for it.
So you're saying it's okay to mess with the classics?
Exactly. Think of those classic recipes like a starting point, a little inspiration.
Right.
But once you know the basics, the rules, you can break them.
Now that's what I like to hear.
Right.
Any other words of wisdom before you let us go?
Don't forget the presentation.
What? You mean like fancy glasses and stuff?
That's part of it. But even just a little garnish, it makes a difference,
Okay, so for our Sex on the Beach at home.
Chilled glass, definitely. But then, a little orange slice, maybe some cranberries on a cocktail pick.
It's all about the details.
Well, folks, there you have it. Our deep dive into the Sex on the Beach. We talked about the history, broke down the flavors, even got a little wild with those variations.
Have we learned a lot along the way?
We sure did. And everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to have a little fun, maybe experiment with your own cocktail creations.
Because at the end of the day,
That's the most important ingredient.
a good time.
Cheers to that.
Feeling thirsty? Check out the description or visit drinklab.org for all the recipe goodness. Cheers!